Hello and welcome to Thursday. First things first, my hair is too long. I need a haircut. I'm aware of that, so you can point it out if you'd like, but I'm aware of this problem and I'll get it fixed as soon as I can. Second thing is I finally got Mal's monitor. Mal's getting an iMac, or I guess to some extent she's had two iMacs already, but she only needs one monitor now for her other computers, which will become a Windows computer. And I got her other monitor. Now that other monitor is actually the same one I'm already using, so I finally have two matching monitors, which is really sweet. Looks really sweet, and I'm really excited. So the one on the right is Mal's monitor, the one on the left is mine. For anyone who is truly interested, since you might be, those are the Asus VS248HP monitors. I love them. I've been using them for years, and they're really bright. They have very true-to-life color, and they're just really great monitors, especially for the money. If you can find one today, they're probably pretty cheap. The other interesting thing is that this is the first time I've ever edited on a 1080 monitor, which sounds bizarre, but I've always edited on a smaller monitor. So all of the stuff that we record at 1080, which is a lot, gets scaled down. And tonight, when I made an episode of Fallout, it's the first time I could edit it and actually see the entire picture. I've never been able to do that. But now I finally have a bigger monitor. Anyway, to the meat and potatoes of this vlog. And this is a weird one. It's a little bizarre, but I have to make this vlog. I just have to because it's important. Tonight, I received a phone call that I've been waiting on for 3 years. Or maybe 4 years. Maybe 4 years. And just by me wording it like that, just by me phrasing the vlog like that, there are quite a few of you that already know who that phone call was from. Anyone who's taken the journey, who has seen particular older vlogs, will know exactly who I'm talking about. And you're right, it's Charlotte. I got a call from Charlotte tonight. And it's crazy and wacky and bizarre because it has literally been years. But it's also exciting. And there's probably quite a few of you, bless you, Kitty, there's probably quite a few of you that up to this point have had no idea what I'm talking about. And they're like, who's Charlotte? What do you mean 3 years? I don't understand. Then there's some old vlogs that I could send you to, but I'm just going to do my absolute best to run down what I'm talking about quickly. So in March 2008, Mal and I started dating. Now, we started dating online. We weren't in person. She was in Wisconsin. I was in Savannah for school. And we started a relationship chatting on Instant Messenger, which turned into Skype calls and webcam. We could see each other, but we had never actually met in person. So in June 2008, a few months later, I decided to change that. So I got a flight to go see her. Now, this was the first time that I'd ever flown by myself. It's kind of a big deal. Fortunately, I sat next to a older woman on my flight named Charlotte, and she wanted to chat. So we did. And I told her all about Mallory and the whole situation. And, I mean, really, it is kind of bizarre to meet someone and to have never actually met them in person, and then to get on a plane and say, I'm going to go see this person and stay with them for a week. That is kind of crazy. But Charlotte was super interested in the story, and I talked with her, for the entire flight. And it really put me at ease to actually talk to someone, since it was the first time I had been on a plane by myself. And when we got off the plane, she said, you have to let me know how this story ends. And she gave me her address. So, I proceeded to Wisconsin. I was with Mal for an entire week. And then whenever I came home, I sent a letter to Charlotte. I wrote her a handwritten note, and I also included a photo that Mal and I had taken together in person, and I sent it her way. And then I never heard from her again for 3 years. It was not until 2011 that I received a letter back. And it was just out of the blue. And I remember reading the letter and be like, holy crap, this is Charlotte from 2008. Why did she take 3 years to send me a letter? In fact, I don't even remember if she... I don't even know if in her letter she addressed that. But anyway, she sent me a letter back. So I sent her a letter back. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, she waited a little bit, and then we finally got in touch, and she was going to come visit Myrtle Beach that Christmas. So it was a few weeks. I think we talked on the phone once to arrange some sort of meeting, and we decided that we'd have lunch in, Christmas time of 2011. And that's on the vlog. We don't show us with her like going to eat, but we talk about it just because, I mean, she's got privacy, rights and stuff. And it was an interesting experience, but also after that happened, we didn't really keep in touch. I believe that the year after, in Christmas 2012, I sent her another letter just to say, Merry Christmas or how you doing, but then I never heard back. So tonight, I got a phone call. I got a phone call from Dad, and he said, there's a woman that left a message on the answering machine named Charlotte. She left her number. She wants to contact you. I think it's the Charlotte that you rode on the plane with all those years ago. So I got the number, and I called her right back, and it was. And honestly, it was so bizarre, because if you think about it, I don't really know this woman all that well. The most time I've ever spent with her, talking to her, was on that plane ride in 2008. Since then, we've written maybe 2 or 3 letters, and that's it. And then I've spoken to her on the phone briefly to set up a lunch meeting, and then we had lunch for, 60, 90 minutes. That's all. That's the entirety of it. But when we spoke on the phone tonight, we talked for 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours. And we talked about everything and anything, and it was like we were the best of friends. It helps that I think on both our parts, we both are really good at holding a conversation. She does not act her age. She acts a lot younger. Like she doesn't seem as old as she is by any stretch of the imagination. And we chatted for a long time, and she wanted to talk to Mal, so I let Mal talk to her for a long time, and it was nice. It was really nice, but also in the back of my mind, it's a little bizarre, because at the end of the day, I don't really know this person, but she's very pleasant to talk to. It was actually quite nice, and it's a weird scenario because, like, if you think about, like, when you pass someone on the street, that person is a person. They have dreams, aspiration, goals, family, beliefs, ideals, etc. But it's just a person you pass. It's not something you really think about. And I've had this really interesting experience where I have latched on in some way to that person walking by on the street, but only in a very brief sense. I got to know this person, but not very well. But at the same time, it's recurring. It takes a few years, but it's recurring. It's just a really weird feeling. But we spoke about everything. We talked about the weather. We talked about, her family and our family. And she's still very, very active. I forget exactly how old she said she was. 75 or 76 or something like that. And she just does not seem it at all. Would not have guessed that, and from the activities and stuff that she was talking about that she does, it's like, no way, there's no way you're that old. But it was a really nice conversation. So why did I bring all this to the vlog? I don't know. I just feel almost that I owe it, because this has been one of the weirder stories of my life. Having this strange relationship with this woman who, I don't really know all that well, but I come in contact with her every once in a while. And before we got off the phone, she asked for my number because she had called my parents, so I gave it to her. And she said, "I'm going to call you again." And I said, "That's fine." She says, "But I'm going to call you when you least expect it." And I said, "That's fine. I enjoy surprises." And then we said our goodbyes and hung up. But in the back of my mind, I can't help but wonder, when will I expect it? I mean, is it going to be a few months down the road, or is it going to be another 3 years? And at our current rate of conversation, it could be. I could just get a call out of the blue 3 years from now. "Hey, how you doing? It's Charlotte." And to be honest, that would be okay. I mean, that would be fine. I don't really know why she hasn't contacted me more than she has. Maybe she wants me to reach out to her. Although I have with the letters, so maybe Maybe then, now that we have phone contact, maybe I should call her instead. I'm not sure. Anyway, I don't know how to turn this into a group discussion, but if any of you have had a similar situation, I'd love to hear about it. If you ran into, like, if you met someone on a plane or a subway or something like that, and you've kept in contact, then please tell your story. These days, it's got to be a lot easier because there's Facebook. It's like if you meet someone, you can just friend them on Facebook, and then you know each other and you keep track of each other a little bit easier. But Charlotte doesn't have Facebook, so it's a really bizarre situation, but it's fun. Anyway, if you have a similar story, feel free to share it. Otherwise, thanks for listening to my rambling. I know it's been a longer vlog, but we just recently answered a question in a Q&A that had asked about Charlotte and said, have you heard anything? And it's really nice that shortly after having that question in that Q&A, we can have this update. Anyway, thanks for watching. And as always, let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?